गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं हूं आपका दोस्त मदन सिंह एंड आई एम बैक विद another इंस्टॉलमेंट ऑफ माय वीडियो। और ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है जिसके ऊपर मैं बात करने वाला हूं। सो पे लॉट ऑफ अटेंशन। आई विल रिक्वेस्ट यू दैट एंड स्टार्ट करने से पहले आई ऑल्सो रिक्वेस्ट यू कि आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करिए एंड प्लीज लाइक इट, शेयर इट एंड कमेंट। आई विल बी वेरी वेरी ग्रेटफुल फॉर इट। Well, gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you now about the leadership of the Indian state. That's number one. And I'll also refer to the Khalistan movement, which is getting wings everywhere. So, gentlemen, now let's look at the leadership. Now, when I was doing the staff college, we had a capsule on leadership, and we studied the leadership as envisaged and the statements made by the great leaders like of the management gurus, and also military leadership like Field Marshal Slim. Gentlemen, a leader is one who leads from the front and who leads for the benefit of the people. ये बहुत important point है, benefit of the people. But I'm afraid the Indian leadership जो है is not believing in this aspect of it. Particularly, I think Mr. Narendra Modi has a lot to explain as to what is his problem with America and why is he going and joining up with China and Russia. Now, leadership का मतलब ये है कि you have to look for the benefit of the people. What is the benefit of the Indians by joining up with China? कोई benefit नहीं है. And the latest thing आपको पता ही है कि Foxconn के 1,200 engineers have been withdrawn by China. That is number one. And Chinese engineers who are working in India are not passing the technology to the Indians. They say you can take the finished product, but we will not give you any technology. That is number one. Number two, China has already occupied 40,000 square miles of Indian territory. They destroyed a buffer state like Tibet, which was Nehru thought they will honor it, which they didn't, and they misled Panditji. I mean, it's a different matter that he was misled, but the fact is, he trusted the Chinese. He is the one who introduced China to the World Conference, particularly the Bandung meeting. He introduced Chow and Lai to the non-line movement. And India was the first country in the world to recognize China as a republic, as a communist state. Now, that being the case, now, gentlemen, we are in a very precarious situation here, and that situation is very bad. I feel very sorry about it, but that's a fact that can't be helped. And I have not been able to understand why India should go into the lap of the Chinese. And there's been a statement now by the economic secretary of Donald Trump, and he's made a statement which you can read on the internet. He has said, India is a democracy, and it's not understood how it's going and becoming pally with the Chinese. China has occupied 40,000 square miles of Indian territory, Aksai Chin and other areas, and they are claiming Arunachal Pradesh. In the last battle with Pakistan, they came squarely on the side of Pakistan, passed intelligence to them through their satellites, and they were one with them. And yet, the Indian state is thinking, led by Narendra Modi, that they can be friends with China and they can frighten America because they think that India is going to be the bulwark against China. Gentlemen, agar politics would be so simple, then 2 and 2 would add up to 4. But I have once mentioned in one of my previous videos that there was a foreign minister called Prince Talleyrand, and he was a French foreign minister who survived 4 governments. And I think you should take lessons from him, which Jai Shankar should have taken. Our relations with America are not that insurmountable. They are very simple, and that is the opening up of the Indian trade to America. What is wrong with it, I have not yet understood. You must remember that I think in 1850 or 1853, Japan was a very closed society. The Japanese would not allow anybody else to come to Japan for trading of anything. Then there was a chap called Admiral Perry. He led an American fleet into Japan, and there was a battle, and the Japanese were annihilated. And by force, Japan was opened up to the Chinese, to the Americans. And the net result, you can see, Japan is one of the biggest economies in the world. Their per capita income is, I think, 7 to 8 times that of India, and that is because they opened up to the Americans. Now, I understand that Indians don't want to open up a lot of areas here, and there's pressure from Indian industrialists कि अगर हम अमेरिकन्स को अलाउ करेंगे यहाँ तो हमारी आइटम्स कौन खरीदेगा. That is very correct. That is because आपके आइटम्स जो है they are very inferior. So the question is that India should make better products to match the West, not make a closed society. Second, the Indians are saying is that we will not allow you to come into agriculture. Now, agriculture जो है इंडिया में बहुत backward है. In America, I think only 4% of the population indulges in agriculture. But that 4% produces enough grain to feed not only the whole of America, but also to give money and grains to a lot of Indians, Africans, and other countries. You may remember when I was in school, there was a big famine in Bihar, and all credit should go to Pandit because his policies were foolish. That there was a family, अकाल पड़ गया था बिहार में, people जो थे वो भूखे मर रहे थे. That is what the time America ने surplus grain था, and they gave to India under PL 480. कहते हैं Public Law 480 में Americans gave thousands of tons of wheat and rice to Indians because they had it. They had to give it. Now in India we have 70% of the Indian population engaged in agriculture, and they are not able to produce enough for India itself. So that means there is something seriously wrong somewhere. We have to modernize our agriculture, and जो छोटी छोटी land holdings है, they should be joined up together. That is what the principle of Karl Marx was there. That is a collectivization, and that is required in India. क्योंकि जो बड़ी farm होगी, that will be able to produce better. Cohesiveness होती है workforce में, but जब छोटी छोटी होती हैं, small land holdings, they are not able to match. So it's a very important point that the Indians should have opened up agriculture to the Americans, but somehow Mr. Modi is not opening up. और एक पर्सनल पॉइंट और हो गया कि मिस्टर मोदी ने सोचा कि आई एम इक्विवेलेंट टू डोनाल्ड ट्रंप. वेल द अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट, whether today Donald Trump is there or tomorrow anybody else is there, American president, gentlemen, is the most powerful man in the world. You cannot fight with the alligator in the water. That should be the point which people should remember, and the Indian government should remember. And trying to show that you are bigger than Trump and you have an ego is not going to help out. And the recent statement by the press secretary and the economic advisor to Donald Trump is that India will have to come down on its knees. And they have blamed India for the war in Ukraine. Now, one of the reasons they have also put the tariffs on India is that India is buying a lot of oil from Russia. And the Indians have complained to the Americans, look, we are buying less than China, but you haven't put any tariffs on China, but on us you have put 50%. उसका जवाब है कि इंडियंस ने जो ऑयल खरीदा है उसको रिफाइन करके दे सोल्ड इट अब्रॉड एट अ प्रॉफिट, एंड ऑल द मनी वाज पॉकेटेड बाय मिस्टर अडानी एंड मुकेश अंबानी एंड द गवर्नमेंट. मतलब द बेनिफिट ऑफ दैट एक्स्ट्रा मनी, billions of dollars, was not passed to the public. While China is not exporting any oil, whatever oil they took from Russia, they used it for their people. There's a big difference, gentlemen. I hope you will understand the difference between the two. India was buying oil and making profiteering, that's the word in English. And who were becoming rich? The rich were becoming richer. Adani, I believe, and Ambani They have earned $16 billion. Their coffers have gone up. They are now more richer than ever. While the poor Indians have remained where they are. So whether you buy oil or no, it makes no difference for them. So this is where India should have done something, which they didn't do. That is the point which I'm making out. Obviously, the Americans keep a track of it, and they are after the blood. Another thing is in India there is a lot of big power play with underhand money which runs into billions of dollars. Americans could detect that Mr. Adani collected money in a public issue from America and took that money and gave it to Indian officials to bribe them so that he could get the power project in Andhra Pradesh. This has been proved, and now he is facing a trial in America. They have issued a warrant for him, and Mr. Adani had to resign from his company, that is International Ports, and now he is running around here and there, not knowing what to do. So basically, gentlemen, I think the Indian policy has been wrong, and there is no question that you're going to have a personal ego. And the personal ego is that Modi has been thinking he's equivalent to Donald Trump. He felt probably hurt that he called General Munir for lunch. And along with Munir, he also called Modi. Modi spurned the offer. He said, I'll not go for lunch. You don't do such things. And good diplomacy means that you go for lunch. No harm in it. He could have met General Munir. After all, who is General Munir? He's not a bloody dragon here. He's a human being. And Modi could have created an impression on him and made an analysis of him. That is why when I was referring to Field Marshal Slim earlier, I was saying that you must know the enemy. The enemy is Pakistan. You must know the leader. And how do you know the leader? You meet him, you talk to him face to face, and let's see what General Munir does and says. And there was Donald Trump sitting inside, and he was wanting to make peace with India and Pakistan. He made the offer much earlier. And the way it looks to me is that India really doesn't want to settle the Kashmir issue at all. And neither did they want to settle a border with China. Now, why they don't want to settle a border with China, I really don't know. And this has continued right from the time of Narasimha Rao, when this border problem really blew up. And then we had that famous gentleman, Sardar Manmohan Singh. He also didn't do a thing. And Modi also is sitting on his haunches. Because until you have a border settlement with China, you cannot be friends with China. And so, gentlemen, I come back to the beginning of my present video. There is no way India should have gone and made friends with China. And the Chinese are not going to treat India as an equal. Now, let's be clear about it. They will be friends with you, but they want you to be subservient to them. So, Indian policy is in a very great flux at the moment because militarily we are nowhere. And it's a surprising thing that the Indians were trying to make the engine of the plane since 1980. How many years it is? 45 years. And in 45 years, India couldn't make an engine. And now there's a hue and cry that we want to have Atmanirbhar. But if you're going to have Atmanirbhar like this, that means for 45 years you don't make any engine and you just keep on spending billions of dollars. I mean, you can well imagine what India is going to make. We haven't even been able to make our own car, one of your own cars. And that is why, the Indians are scared. At least Mahindra and Tata are very scared that if the American cars come in and Japanese cars come in, they'll buy them only. Even the Chinese cars they will buy. Nobody will buy these cars because their quality is very poor. I'll just tell you a small thing personally. I had bought a Mahindra XU500 and just within a few years the body has rusted. I mean, you've got to change so many things in the body, and that is not a good sign. That means the quality is very poor. I had a Skoda earlier, and even after 10 years, its body had not rusted. It was so wonderful. I mean, that's a tribute to Czech and German engineering. So why can't we make things so good that we can sell them abroad. Why can't people buy? Now people buy Japanese cars, even Chinese are doing very well, and nobody wants to buy an Indian car outside. I've been very often to Singapore, I went to Bangkok, and been to America, and been to the Middle East, but I haven't seen any Indian cars there. Nobody sees them. So that's food for thought. And now I'll think, gentlemen, this particular lecture of mine was in foreign policy. And Jai Shankar, I think, is talking a lot. That's the problem with him. And he's been one of the failures. What sort of foreign minister is he that in the years he has been as a foreign minister, India has no friends? I mean, it's a very sad tribute. Out of 193 countries, not a single country supported India or condemned Pakistan once India launched an attack on Pakistan terror camps. I had earlier also said it was wrong to have launched the attack, but if you had launched it and you say you were winning, there was no question of compromise because war is an extension of the political aim. That is what Field Marshal Clausewitz, who enunciated the principles of war, has said. And here, the political aim, which was to crush Pakistan, didn't take place. And Pakistan is resurgent. It's friendly with China, it's friendly with America, and it is being courted by Russia. While India is sitting isolated at the moment, and Narendra Modi, after 7 years, is going to China. He made a visit to America every year. He made 11 visits to America, and net result is a big zero. And now he's gone to China after 7 years, but he should beware. The Chinese are very clever. They are economically much ahead of India. Their military is three times the potent power of India, and their in trade is, just imagine, is $3 trillion, and they're trading with 134 countries in the world. Even with India, they're supplying goods worth 100 billion to India because Indians don't manufacture those goods. So, gentlemen, where is the question? The leader has to see what is good for the people. This tariff of 50% is very bad for India. I mean, I'm told that a lot of factories have shut down, workers have been laid off. The fishermen who were going and bringing the fish, they don't know where to sell it because all this was being processed and sent to America, and America doesn't want the goods. There's a 50% tariff, and you can't sell those items. So, gentlemen, I hope the Indian leadership, I won't blame anybody because the same sort of leadership has continued from the time of Nehru. I think it's in Indian genes. The genes are that you don't know what is the right thing. After all, when Prithviraj was fighting Muhammad Ghori, his own brother-in-law went and joined Prithviraj. Even when Shivaji was joining, his own son and went and joined Aurangzeb. So we have people like this in India, that's the problem. And the same thing continues now. I hope you like my video, gentlemen. I hope I can expect you to subscribe to it. In the meanwhile, I'll say goodbye, God bless, and Jai Hind.